What's up guys, Mr. here once again, and welcome back to what's supposed to be a yearly top 10 list. Sorry for not having one last year, it just wasn't possible with how much time I had to prepare with school and just general life getting in the way, but this year I'm back, and with an even more interesting topic. It's not just the end of the year, it's the end of a decade. So much has changed in 10 years. 10 years ago, I wasn't allowed on YouTube by my parents or Kappa. Now, I'm making content for YouTube, and now let's look back on the last decade of games and pick 10. Who in their right mind would willingly put themselves up to this? Answer, no one. As this is my list of the decade, only games that I've played can count for the list, and if a game had a remaster or remake, it would count for this list as long as it wasn't just a port. So, as long as something was added to the game to make it a little different from the original, then it would count. But just spoiling this now, there are no remakes on this list. Me talking about this now is just for the honorable mention. But, no more wasting time, let's jump into number 10. At number 10, we have a game that if you asked me if I even liked, I would have given you a "sometimes I do" answer, but over my last playthrough has really clicked with me, and that is Infamous 2. Infamous 2 is the sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, Infamous, and during my first playthrough, I didn't think it lived up to the expectations that the first game gave, but I'm glad that I went and replayed it. I love just how the characters interact with each other. And yes, that's something Infamous 2 has over the original. One example I have is Zeke taking over the TV signals to try to find Cole a date. I just started laughing when I realized what was going on. But it wouldn't just be an improvement if it was just the characters, it's also in the gameplay. At first, I didn't like it making me use Cole's powers in ways I didn't really like, but after getting the Stuntmaster trophy in the original Infamous, I learned to be more adaptive, which helped me get better powers. Like, oh god, how did I play this game without these kind of powers? The answer? Poorly. As for the story, well, I do think the original Infamous has the better story. That's not all that matters here though. It also released in 2009, so there was this or Second Son, but in the end, I like Infamous 2 now. So on to number 9. Welcome to number 9, I hope you enjoy your stay. Food and drinks are on the left, torches and pitchforks are on the right. We just ask you don't use them on our staff, please and thank you. If that introduction tells you anything, number 9 is Super Mario 3D World. Now, I know what a lot of you are gonna say. Super Mario Odyssey is a great game, but to me, it just didn't have that certain something that this game has. I enjoyed Super Mario 3D World almost enough to 100% it. Now, that's something I can't say for Super Mario Odyssey. I've said before that the moons in Odyssey felt like they had almost no meaning on how much are in the game. In Super Mario 3D World, it's kind of the opposite. With the green stars, they have meaning, although in some cases both the moons and green star are just as easy to find. But in the final level, Super Mario 3D World doesn't pull their punches. Now, to be fair, I've not played the darker side yet, despite the fact I'm kind of in a race to get there. And as a side note, hope I can finish that race someday, just not today. Now, the story is nothing to write home about for either game. It's save X to get the cake from Peach or the Sprixies. On a final note, Super Mario Odyssey easily has the better boss fights. Now, on to number 8. Quiet. These beasts are very dangerous. And it's right behind me, isn't it? Well, that's a perfect segue to number 8, Horizon Zero Dawn. Releasing the same day as the Switch is a very ballsy decision. But with a game like this, it was so good not to be totally overshadowed, and eventually being known in its own right. You take down robot dinosaurs with a handful of unique weapons from the Age of Hunters, but with a mechanical twist, with Aloy the Outcast, the only one of her tribe that accepts technology as an asset on her journey, to find out what the hell's going on in the world. Hunting the robots isn't easy, and you'll need to be careful not to die or get in over your head, which I have a tendency to do often. That leads me to getting bitten by a giant robot dinosaur. Now that we've gotten that mess taken care of, let's move on to number 7. Okay, on 3 we go. 1, 2, 3.
Why the fuck did you jump?
Oh, you're back. Then we must be in a platformer. Oh, let it be number 7, A Hat in Time. This cute as heck 3D platformer is a love letter to the GameCube era, and yes, that is basically what I said on the top 10 games of 2017. But that's just the best way I know to intro the game. You help Hat Girl collect all of her timepieces that one of the Mafia assholes somehow let out. It's an excuse to explore wonderful levels like the Subcon Forest, to the DLC levels like the Nakuza Metro, which shows that love is still being poured into this game, and it's fantastic. A Hat in Time controls like a great 3D platformer. Think Mario Sunshine. It's just the right amount of float to your jump, and the dive is a great recovery move that really helps you with precision platforming. Again, my only real complaint is that I wish the game was longer. However, with the DLC, that's becoming less and less of an issue. Now, let's jump to number 6.
This is the story of a boy and a girl. That girl could turn into another girl, her sister, in a way. And they only want one thing.
Now place your hand on my chest.
What?
Okay, that's not actually what they want, but I just couldn't resist. But number 6 is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. With waifus Pyra and Mifra, the Aegises, wanting to go to the top of the world tree, or die. One of the two. The story is honestly compelling, and at some points took twists that I didn't see coming, and I enjoyed it the whole way through. And to quote myself again for the combat, there are things that can one-shot you all the way through the game. The gameplay is an action RPG, which for me at least took a little bit of getting used to, but when I did get the hang of battle, it became a blast. Although, I didn't know about something the game told me because I like to skip text boxes, and I didn't figure it out till the final boss. Would have made so many fights so much easier. But that's just me. Now, let's make our way to the top of the world tree. On second thought, let's go to number 5. In the top 5 of the decade, we have really hard hitters. And starting out at number 5 is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game that takes you back to the time of the NES and the original Legend of Zelda, and captures what made it so special. Exploring new worlds, finding out everything during your first playthrough, and that is one reason why it's only number 5. After the first playthrough, you really don't have that joy of discovery anymore. However, that is more than made up for in just how fun the game is to play. The combat system is a little on the basic side. The enemy pool is more of a puddle than anything, but it's fun to take down your enemies with a wide range of weapons. The divine beasts are the temples, and they are fun to go through, if a bit short, with the shrines acting as mini dungeons in between, and the DLC adds even more to do with the Master Sword trial and the quest for the Master Cycle. Now, you may have noticed I've said some things about the game that make it not even top 10 material. But I also said that the game was fun, and that's just what Breath of the Wild is. Fun. Now, let's warp to number 4. At number 4, we have a game that, for its series on the first game, said catch 'em all. But in this game's case, it's more like transfer them all. Number 4 is Pokemon Black and White. Pokemon Black and White is the 5th generation of Pokemon, And they did something that Pokemon Sword and Shield did in a bit of a different way, by having only the available Pokemon be the new Pokemon of the Unova region. And for me, I like it this way. It lets me pick new Pokemon to use and see if they have what it takes to become one of my favorites. The story is different from the usual Pokemon game. You're not just trying to become the champion, but Team Plasma is saying that Pokemon should decide how they want to live, if they want to live with their trainers or in the wild. So maybe the world isn't so black and white. Until you beat the first gym, and then they're just generic evil assholes using Pokemon for no good. The characters is where black and white really shine to me. Not only do the gym leaders feel like they actually do something besides being a boss trainer to beat up, I can't talk about these games' characters without bringing up N. He is the opposite of the player character, only seeing Pokemon battles as a necessary evil to free Pokemon. He has his reasons for what he does, and one detail that I love is that he doesn't keep any Pokemon for long. All the Pokemon he has are Pokemon from the routes in the surrounding area that you battle. As one last aside, you can't bring up Black and White without talking about Black and White 2. They continue the story and have even more unique ideas like freezing over part of the region. Well, now that everything's not just black and white, let's jump into the gray area with number 3. Top 3. It's not something one game can easily do for any list, but this has to be one of the hardest to crack into. But let's get right into it with a high five.
That's what I'm talking about!
That's right, we're in Pandora with Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is an FPS that drives itself on the batshit crazy. I mean, you have a pony made of diamonds, and those who haven't played Borderlands 2, please note, I am not joking.
I should probably clarify. The diamond horse I've been telling you about? My mother! It's not a sculpture or anything. It's a living horse that actually happens to be made of. Will you narrow me? I'll just There you go. Bud Stallion. Say hello. Yeah. Bud Stallion says hello.
The gameplay is a blast whether you're shooting up bandits or blowing up machines with rockets. And with how many guns they have in the game, you're more likely to win the lottery than get 2 of the exact same gun at random. But I did over at a friend's house once. Does that mean I lost my chances to win the lottery? Gameplay is only one aspect of the game, and we can't talk about Borderlands without talking about Handsome Jack. He is your enemy, he calls you up and just talks to you about the random shit he's up to, or just how he's trying to kill you, or about how much these pretzels suck. And in the end, he just sees himself as a hero. I guess the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But enough of that bullshit, let's move on to number 2. Listen guys, I have a question for you. How would you describe Minecraft on a list like this? Well, in almost every case, you don't have to. Minecraft is so well known that your mom probably knows what it is. Hell, maybe your grandpa knows what Minecraft is. Minecraft is the game I can say for certain I have put the most time into. From different mod packs to the survival games to just plain old vanilla. Minecraft is a game that you can do anything in. If you have something in mind, build it. If you see a mod that you think looks cool, play it. If you want to go on an adventure, go on an adventure. It's a game with infinite possibility. Now, you may think Minecraft shouldn't be counted for this list, seeing as you could buy and play Minecraft in 2009. However, Minecraft released in November of 2011, so it counts. Alright, now that we've named number 2, before we hit our top spot, let's go over some honorable mentions. For the honorable mentions, we have Assassin's Creed Revelations, Stardew Valley, Rayman Legends and Origins, Portal 2, Warframe, The Walking Dead, Dishonored, Kid Icarus Uprising, Ocarina of Time 3D, Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, The Binding of Isaac, any of them, Death Road to Canada, Yoshi's Woolly World, The Escapist, Twilight Princess HD, Wind Waker HD, A Link Between Worlds, Splatoon 2, Undertale, Shovel Knight, Majora's Mask 3D, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Spider-Man for PS4, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, Link's Awakening, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Super Mario Odyssey, Digimon Cyber Sleuth, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, Infinite Second Son, Pokemon Go, Kingdom Hearts 3, Nier Automata, Little Big Planet 1 and 2, and Apex Legends. For number 1, let's just get right to the point. This game stole my heart, both literally and figuratively. This game is Persona 5. Persona 5 is a fucking fantastic game. The story is great with a twist I didn't expect, and characters that are great. Now you may notice I'm not talking as much as I have been for stuff like Breath of the Wild or Borderlands 2, and that's because Persona 5 is such a special game to me, and I think everyone needs to play it blind at least once. Connect with the characters, live the story, and in my case, learn about yourself. I was a shadow of the me I wanted to be before Persona 5, and it helped me see the light on what I wanted to do with my life by not being controlled by shitty people. And all I can say to the people that made Persona 5 is thank you for stealing my heart. Well, that's my list. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like and maybe subscribe. I thank you all for watching. I've been Scared1. This was 2019. See you guys in 2020.